Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Living. We're glad you could be with us here today. Kind of caught me off guard. We're glad you're here, though. I'm Jim Fuller, and
I'm Peggy Burton, and we're here without John Gray. Whatever shall we do?
That is correct. John's a little under the weather. Actually, John has had a little bit of a surgery, and he's doing quite well, but certainly not able to be here today.
We'll send out a blessing and a message.
Absolutely.
You will, John.
Absolutely.
It's
Peggy said she talked to Fran this morning, and he was, writing songs and giving the nurses
giving the nurses a hard time and writing songs and doing what John does best.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's doing great.
So we're pretty much assuming by that
he's doing okay.
He's doing great.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway, we hope so.
Yes. Apparently, it was a big weekend. There's lots of events going on around town, musical Christmas type events.
Lots of wonderful things going on. I just wanted to give a shout out to the First Christian Church for the beautiful job they did with their cantata. It's amazing to me what a church can put together. Mm-hmm. They had a group up there. Bill Sanders was playing banjo. Don't you love that?
I do.
So crazy
I do
about
love that.
There was banjo and cello and flute, and of course Vicki at the piano, and Ann Baldwin directing the choir. So that was a wonderful event, and I was glad I went.
Yeah, I usually go to that event, but I missed it because I had a conflict with something else that night.
There's always something to do, and
yeah.
it's nice. Every church I think has some special event, and I can't get to them all, but I appreciate it.
And I had forgotten that Bill Sanders was a banjo player. But,
yeah, I saw Debbie, and she said he's also has been playing violin. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not sure if we call his playing fiddle or is he playing violin.
It's really hard to distinguish the difference. Can you explain to us what the difference?
Well, a great violinist told me one time it simply depended on the individual playing.
Oh, I see.
I think if you're doing bluegrass, you might be playing a fiddle.
Yeah, okay.
If you're in a symphony orchestra, you're playing a violin. But it's the same thing.
It's good information to know. Nevertheless, again, that was, I'm sure, a great event. First Presbyterian Church, I know, had an event that some of our family were involved in, and then I think the high school band concert.
You sure got a lot of talent in your family.
It's amazing.
And I saw some of the high school band. I meant to go to that, but I had family at the house, and I saw some of it on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And what a super job they do! It's amazing the amount of talent. I'm just feel so blessed to live in this community.
My youngest granddaughter, who is 11, is playing the flute.
Is she?
Yeah.
She's going to be as good as her mama?
Well, I don't know. I asked her, she was at the house a couple of days ago, and I said, so, does your mother help you with that, or does she try to? No, not really. But she named her teacher.
Yeah.
I forgot who it was.
One of the hardest things in the world is to help your child. I remember when my son, Bart, was a little bitty thing, maybe 6, and I had him sitting on the piano stool, and I was trying to give him a piano lesson, and he was saying, Mama, I don't know this. Mama, can I do that? And it was Mama, Mama, Mama. And finally I said, if you call me Mama one more time, I'm going to knock you off this piano stool. And a few minutes later he said, Lady, can I ask you a question? I'll never forget that.
Well, it's good to get.
Yeah.
Did you give Bart advice about how to?
Well, he automatically could. He had a great ear, so he learned a lot of things. John Rickman taught him to play guitar.
No kidding.
John Rickman spent one session with him and taught him how to make chords. And from there, Bart became quite proficient on the 12-string guitar. So thank you, John.
I guess it's okay to tell the story, but my daddy played guitar.
Did
he? Yes. And I only remember one time that he tried to teach me anything, but it was kind of funny but true. I sat down and he said, I'm going to teach you how to play this guitar. And I said, okay. And he said, well, the first thing you need to do is get you a beer. And so he got him a beer and proceeded. And at that point, I was only about 5 or 6 years old. However, later in life, I did learn to play guitar, and John's brother Jerry is the one that taught me. And I realized at about 22 or 3 that getting the beer was pretty important.
You started sounding a lot better, didn't you?
Yeah, that was a
Hey, if
pretty
anybody
important
is
factor.
out and about and watching this show on Tuesday, tonight, if you happen to be watching on Tuesday, we have It's a Wonderful Life in the movie at South Jackson Civic Center.
Okay. You say if you're watching this tonight at
7 o'clock.
You probably got time to still get there.
Tickets at the door, yeah.
All right. We are going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back in just a moment with today's show.
It's football time in Tennessee, and nobody tackles the competition like the Russell Barnett Automotive family. With 6 different locations, 8 new car franchises, over 1,000 new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from, a certified collision center with lifetime paint guarantee, Russell Barnett Hometown Auto Rental. Let our family exceed your expectations at the Russell Barnett Automotive family. And remember, why buy anywhere else?
All I have to do to think about what I was physically before and what I am now, and I don't ever want to go back to that original situation.
The overall mission of the rehab team is always what is best for the patient and how we can facilitate maximum potential from every resident.
Well, the most important thing to me is that I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do, you know.
Everyday Miracles, Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
I have the most fascinating lady sitting on the set with me today. Sylvia, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
Welcome.
Merry Christmas.
And you too. I love it. You have on red.
Thank you.
At the last minute, I grabbed this scarf thinking maybe I would make a
If
short
it's not
statement.
black, red, or white,
There you go.
I don't wear it.
Exactly.
So
Well, I
red's
know-
my color.
I know there's things happening at the Fly Building in Chevrolet,
Yes.
and I'm so proud of all that you guys do. So take it away.
Well,
what do
take
we
it
start
away.
with?
You know, New Year's Eve dance. That's dance this year, and we've got the Back by Popular Man, 4 on the Floor band.
I've heard that they're
50s,
wonderful.
60s rock and roll time.
Reservations required.
Reservations all come through me. 931-580-9696. So we can, it's $30 for a single. And I encourage single people to come because we have several tables that I put singles together, and $50 a couple. And that's party favors and champagne toast. We
Great. You
provide
can't beat that.
midnight breakfast, and we encourage BYOB. We do have just sodas, that's St. Louis, you can tell, soft drinks and water and snacks, but they're permitted to bring stuff in.
If they want to bring
Correct.
extra snacks, they're welcome to do it. Grab
We
yourself a
start at
hamburger on the
8
corner.
and in till feed breakfast about 12:15.
How many people can you all accommodate there?
About 160.
That's a great number.
It is a great number. We still have, you can call me and I can set you up for a table, or if you only have 4, I'll put you in with another table that has the 4.
Very good.
So all the reservations I handle and I speak to everyone.
I'm doubting that there's anywhere you can go any less money.
Not for $50 a couple or
That's right.
$30.
That's really good.
It's a good place. Flower Art Center is at 204 South.
Just off the
Main,
square.
right behind the square, on the south side of the square. It's easy to get to.
If you're leaving Tullahoma, you drive straight to, is it still Kentucky Fried Chicken, and turn left?
Correct.
And go
or, yes,
around the square. and
around
then
the square.
Straight across. It's really
yes,
straight.
Straight.
Anyway,
Very
it sounds
straight.
like fun. What else we got going?
Well, now in January, we pull the building down. give it some rest, and do major cleaning and do some minor repairs. So the whole month of January, the phone is activating if you are interested in renting, because we do rent.
Still rent.
And if you're interested in any type of program that's coming on. Right now, our Facebook page is down. We are going a lot with Facebook, and you can do Fly Arts Center, or you can do the Fly Community Center for the place, and etc.
And you probably have a website.
We
Or
do, but it's down right now. We're making a change.
Okay.
We're, finding that time.
This season looks fascinating.
Oh yes, the 2018 season flyer. March is Arsenic
and Old Lace. I love that play.
And then we go, May is Fools.
Well, there's a lot of those in the country, so that ought to be fun.
And then the children's play this summer, July 12th through 14th, it's Harry Tale.
A Harry Tale, cute.
And our theater group is doing for a fundraiser, a lot of Murderous Crossing. Last year they did an April Foolness show. People came in. It was a fundraiser. It was great. The Crucible in September.
Wow.
And then
That's pretty ambitious.
Yes, it is. And then a Tunic Christmas. And we just finished a fantastic Christmas bells. We had 5 different sessions, and all of them were sold out. It's dinner theater.
That is wonderful.
And on Sunday, it was just regular theater. But, oh yeah, the community, hilarious.
Now, when you say dinner theater, does that mean you put it on out in the big part?
Actually, at 6 we feed.
You feed, and then they go into
Then your ticket allows you to go in with where you have chosen.
And you still have artifacts
Yes, we
displayed?
have a museum, and also we have a gallery that you can Christmas shop. Still open.
Yeah. And people need to know that.
And then in November we
What time are
kicked
y'all
off
open? Like if somebody just wants to run over there during the day?
Mondays and Thursdays from 11 to 4. And the reason this whole operation is run by strictly volunteers.
Right.
And so those are the areas.
And you're probably always looking for volunteers.
Oh, always.
And if anybody
always.
wants to volunteer, I'm sure they can give you a call.
Right, because this year the theater went to Ticket, FlyArtsCenter.tix.com. And it's real funny because a lot of our senior population get real nervous about the TIC program, and I don't have it, but we still take reservations by phone and the TIC people.
And you will find that it lessens the line. So you don't have to wait. If you get your
print
tickets ahead of time,
own.
it's a really good idea.
Because the way our theater is set up, you have a nice center section, and you have.
How much are your tickets for the season? Do you have a season ticket?
I'm not quite sure. They're working on it.
Okay.
Season tickets, and they're taking out the fundraiser and the children, but I haven't given I've been given a price
but
yet.
You have a really good season
But we
there.
will have a good season, and we're doing real well about keeping a lot of the shows up and running and participation. So.
Well, I never can get over how much you have going on in Chevrolet, and I'm so proud of. Actually, I'm proud of the entire region because there's a lot of events
There
happening.
are different arts.
Sylvia, you're going to have to come back and talk some more because they're going to run us off. We got to go.
Thank you very much.
We got other things to do.
Thank you. Merry
Always
Christmas.
love having you. Merry Christmas
and
to
New
you.
Year's to you.
Partners for Healing provides medical care to the working uninsured of Coffee, Franklin, and Moore counties. We are in Tullahoma from 8 to 5, Monday through Thursdays, and in Manchester on Fridays from 8 to 12. We provide primary medical care and offer an in-house disease management program.
My name is Rosie Mitchell, and I would just like to say I am blessed to have partners in my life.
Please call 455-5014 for more information. Thank you for being one of our Partners for Healing.
Hello, this is Janie Price. When my husband Ray Price would tour across the country, his favorite place to dine was Cracker Barrel Old Country Store locations. His favorite thing to order was the Uncle Herschel.
And the beauty of it all is forever, you'll be holding me to.
I miss Ray dearly, and I'm so proud that his last album, Beauty Is the Final Sessions, is available at his favorite restaurant.
A love affair to remember.
The project includes a duet with Martina McBride and harmony vocals from Vince Gill. Ray believed this to be the best recording he had ever made.
Oh, I wish I was 18 again.
I think you'll agree when you pick up your copy of Beauty Is the Final Sessions at a Cracker Barrel Old Country Store location near you or at crackerbarrel.com.
I had the opportunity to see Civic Choir again this year. I don't think I've missed more than one in the 10 years it's been going on. So we're so happy to have some more of our local Civic Choir event directed by Ann Baldwin.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, no, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Rigman.
And I'm Pat Welch. And John, we are here today for segment 72 of the Conversations with John and Pat.
We're just so glad to be here.
Absolutely.
Wrote this song several years ago. It's a parody, by the way.
Okay.
You know,
we've discussed the meaning of that.
It's a tune that Mac Davis came up with, and he had different words, and I kind of changed them for our little musical trio. Oh, Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way. We can't wait to look in the mirror, 'cause we get better looking each day. To know us is to love us. We must be a heck of a band. Oh, Lord, it's hard to be humble, but we're doing the best that we can. Once we had an agent, but he never did nothing for us. He charged us a fee for our tryout, then never did get back in touch. Do you reckon he lost our phone number, or by accident throwed it away? I bet he's perturbed, 'cause talent like ours just don't come along every day. Oh, Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way. We can't wait to look in the mirror, 'cause we get better looking each day. To know us is to love us. We must be a heck of a band. Oh, Lord, it's hard to be humble, but we're doing the best that we can. You ask why we're not on the Opry. It's a fact many people don't know. Roy Acuff has personally called us, but we've just been too busy to go. Some people say that we're conceited, but we don't even know what that means. But I think it has something to do with the way can't believe I wrote that. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way. We can't wait to look in the mirror, 'cause we get better looking each day. To know us is to love us. We must be a heck of a band. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble, but we're doing the best that we can. You know, that's silly.
There's a whole lot I could say about that, John, but I'm going to refrain.
I know it. Phil Comstock I wrote it, and then I let Phil sing it, and he sings that last part, and that's not so embarrassing to me when he does it.
Yeah, that's exactly
But then
right,
the lyrics are there for me to. And did you know how long that song's been written? Roy Acuff was still alive. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Y'all, we're going to talk about the THS boys basketball team of 1978-79. Now, you guys on that team, y'all get ready to hear about yourselves. The team was coached by Dale Phelps. Let's put their picture up there, Philip. And they lost to Knoxville Farragut in the quarterfinals, 60-55. Only THS team to go as far. Took the district and regional tournament in sub-state. They squeaked by Bradley County, 74-73 in overtime. The team consisted of, and here's the way to go, managers David Cooley, Freddie Fox down front. Standing on the left, Coach Phelps, Scott Simpson, Robert Hayes, David Hollinshed, Eugene London, Odell Crutchfield, Seth McDonald, Alex Sharpton, Lim Telford, Bobby Phelps, and that's the coach's son. He was a playmaker. Frank Johnson, Darrell Gillum, and Joe Johnson. Now let's show Seth. Seth was a big man. He was 6'7" and averaged 15.3 points a game. This team, by the way, had a 24-3 record, and the scoring was led by Seth. But not too far behind him was Odell Crutchfield. Put his picture up if you would.
John, you've come prepared today, buddy. I'm proud of you.
Well, I saw the way you did last segment, and I decided I'd try to do better.
It didn't take a lot of effort to do that, too.
Just kidding. I've got a paper in front of me. It's easier this way. And Odell had 11 7-point average, and then Frank Johnson, he's our next one to show. Frank Johnson was a guy I taught over at East and coached. He was a great guy for me and for Coach Phelps as well. 13 points a game. And Frank and Odell were chosen on the district tournament team, joined by Bobby Phelps and Frank in the regional team. Darrell Gillum did not miss a free throw in the tournament play. And Alex Sharpton and Lim Tilford were strong substitutes at 6'3", which signified a team effort throughout the entire season. And they were a great team. And one of the assets of the team is having, when you play defense with a large bunch of guys, and Seth was the center, inside meaning was you always have to keep him, compress your defense to make sure that you've got him contained. And Odell, then again, he had height enough to do the same, and some of the other guys were.
Eugene would have too.
Yeah, and all those guys had height, and that's probably one reason that team went on to as far as they did in the season. And they were, again, sub-state. They squeaked by Bradley County 74-73, went to state finals, and they were in the quarterfinals of the state. So they had a real good team, and they should be congratulated.
Did you say Bradley won that the tournament that year?
Bradley County. They squeaked by Bradley County.
Okay, who? Farragut. I'm sorry.
Farragut won. Lost to Farragut in the And I'm not sure. It doesn't say that Farragut won the entire tournament, but it was a great group of guys and a great season. And I know those guys are proud.
And should be.
To be a part of that team even now.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's pretty much our segment today, and we're happy to be here. And Pat, you got anything you'd like to say?
John, I'm still reeling from a bad performance the previous week on that one that you alluded to there.
Oh, you did good. I was just pulling your leg.
Your annual, we'll have to talk to the annual staff.
I'd like to add just one little comment before we finish up here. Not too long ago, I told the story about Charlie Saunders, teacher at East, and Tim Stubblefield wrestling at East. And I was a referee, student and teacher wrestling, and all the students gathering around. And I had told that Tim got Mr. Saunders down, and so I made him stand back up because of the legal hold. Well, I got a call from Mr. Saunders just the other day. He's leading singing, by the way, over at Highland Baptist Church. And some of his church folks had told him I told that tale, and he said, I want you to know that I got Tim down. And then you made us stand back up. And by the time I stood back up and had to go at him again, I was so tired I couldn't do anything. So,
that's a better story.
We try to be accurate with our information, but 40 years does something to your memory.
Oh man. Well, it's I imagine it probably jaded Tim's too, because I don't think I doubt Tim remembers him getting taken out with Mr. Saunders either.
No, good fellas and a good basketball team at that time.
Well, it's a great team.
Thank you, everyone.
And that closes out segment 72, but it's not the end of the story. We hope, if management allows us to come back, we've got the stories. Thank y'all.
Talking history about the sand.
Oh my goodness.
It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
Smoking tobacco accounts for 3 of every 10 fire deaths in the United States.
Tullahoma Fire Department need you en route to a structure fire, 202 Main Street. Heavy smoke showing. Neighbors advise child trapped inside.
Lighters, matches, and associated smoking paraphernalia are the leading cause of preschooler fire deaths. We as firefighters know that most structure fires can be prevented.
I've got one! Command, this is primary search. We have a victim. Need EMS to meet us at the front door.
Please help us to give you a fighting chance. This can be prevented. Contact the Tullahoma Fire Department for a free home safety inspection.
What's a Tennessee vacation? It starts off like any road trip, and then, boom, adventure and thrills everywhere you look, which happens to be some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. Music here, history there, and all kinds of green in between. Come relax and unwind, or bring the crowd for some stargazing, or stargazing. Whatever you do, come hungry and expect an awesome soundtrack. It's all right here in Tennessee. We're playing your song. For a free vacation guide, visit tnvacation.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're pleased to have joining us now the illustrious mayor of Tullahoma, Tennessee, and we don't get an opportunity to see him much, primarily because he's so busy, and then particularly this time of the year, Lane. And I know you were commenting a moment ago about all the things that are have happened and will happen. You want to share that with our viewing audience?
Well, for most of us, this season is a very busy season, you know, getting ready for family and friends to visit and a lot of holiday parties and things like that. But, you know, it's also a good time to give back to the community as well. And so I'm so proud of Dustin Lynch and what he's done the past 4 years for our community. I don't know how much money he's collected and donated over the years, past 4 years, but you know, over $50,000. I know that.
Isn't it amazing that people like you and I can go out here and work for weeks trying to raise $5,000 or $6,000 for something, but Dustin, because of his notoriety and he is a great entertainer, can come in here and raise 20 in one night. You know. So.
Well, I'm not speaking for you, but I think it reflects on my talents.
Well, mine as well.
Yeah, but I can't do that. But anyway, Dustin is such a giving person, and you're right. Raised $20,000, went to 2 great causes, caring for kids, and the court-appointed special advocates CASA program. So really appreciate Dustin. And he mentioned to me afterwards he's already looking forward to next year. Right. So we'll keep it going. And
you know, that is a great thing, because the court-appointed special advocates is something that maybe a lot of folks are not familiar with, but it's certainly a very important program.
Sure. You know, unfortunately, as in every community, we've got children that are abused and neglected, and so these are volunteers that step up and be an advocate for the child, and always look after the child's best interest. So we appreciate Dustin and him recognizing CASA and the work that they do. They were thrilled, I can tell you firsthand, receiving the money. It allows them to do even more things in the community. And then this past, well, it's been going on for a month or so now. Evelyn, my wife, for the past at least 20 years, maybe 25 years, has been organizing gifts for foster children. We have in this county right at 100 foster children. And these are children that you know, have come from very difficult circumstances. Many of them have been abused and neglected to the extent they've been taken from their family. So it just, and those foster parents, I know several of them, and they love these children. Some of them are not financially able to do what they'd like to do for the children.
Sure.
So every year, Evelyn and her team organizes, you know, and have bought Little League uniforms and prom dresses, and just assisted with extra things that these foster children need.
And those things are so important to a child.
Sure.
So important.
Sure,
to a child.
sure. You know, sometimes because of the situation, they've been ostracized to some extent, maybe to a large extent. And so Christmas is just, we want it to be a special time for these children who range anywhere from infants to 18 years old. And so Evelyn and her team put up angel trees all over the county, and people are so incredibly generous and buy or take angels from the trees and then buy the toys or clothes or whatever is on that angel. So I appreciate Evelyn and her team for doing this for so long, and just sort of work behind the scenes to make this happen for the 100 foster children.
Even to find foster parents, I've heard you say, is a huge problem.
Oh, absolutely, it is. So many of the children are actually shipped out of the county. So they've been taken, I mean, from their family, and sometimes for cause, I understand that, but they're also taken away from their school and their church or their friends, and so they're shipped off to another county. So that just makes it that much tougher for these children. Right. So I'm not prepared to have a phone number or anything like that to call, but you can always call DCS and apply and go through the training to become a foster parent. It's just so important for these children.
Absolutely, and I can imagine that would be a very, very rewarding thing.
Sure,
so,
sure.
We're nearing the end of the year. What are some things that you'd like to that you fondly remember about what we've accomplished in the city of Tullahoma this year?
I mean, it's just been a great year. Let me mention one other thing, if you don't mind.
Go right ahead.
For another 20 or 25 years, I don't know, we've organized a Christmas lunch for folks that are just maybe they're unemployed, maybe they're lonely, maybe they're you know, are grieving for some reason. They're a low-income single parent. They're a senior citizen, maybe with no family around. So on Christmas morning, we'll serve approximately 400 meals to to families that are in that situation. And we don't ask any questions. If anybody needs a meal, we serve them a meal. And this is an excellent meal. We got ham, vegetables this year, desserts, etc. So when we first started doing this, several of the women I talked to were not comfortable maybe delivering a meal to a part of town they weren't familiar with, and I understand that. So I thought, what can these folks do that want to participate? So I thought, let's just let them make desserts. And so, Jim, on Christmas morning, we will have, you will not believe the homemade desserts that come in that we share with these families that are, for whatever reason, they're in need or they're lonely or whatever. And so I'm really proud of these folks for stepping up, providing desserts. We'll have over 100 volunteers. Can you imagine on Christmas morning?
That's amazing.
You show up, and sometimes they bring their whole family. It's become sort of a tradition for them, to be there on Christmas morning. And we'll package 400 meals. We've got volunteers that will deliver the meals to these families, and to where the recipients are accepting, they'll stand on the front porch and just talk a few minutes, is there anything else we can do for you, and things like that. So it's just become a tradition for some families in Tullahoma to participate, and so I'm very, very appreciative of those volunteers that step up and do a very, very nice thing for families.
Are you still needing volunteers for this year?
You know what? I never know how many volunteers. The first year we did this, I distinctly remember, I wonder if anybody's going to show up. Am I going to be out delivering a bunch of meals for the next 2 days? But Jim, there'll be so many volunteers there that morning that I have a hard time finding things for everybody to do.
Where are these meals prepared?
Okay, so we buy the meals from Tenova Healthcare Harton.
I see.
And we package the meals in their cafeteria, and then the volunteers. We have a bunch of volunteers that show up that want to enjoy packing the meals, preparing the meals. Then at 9 o'clock on Christmas morning, and then at 10 o'clock, there's another set of volunteers that show up and want to deliver the meals. And then we've got then some people the night before will deliver desserts, or early that morning deliver desserts. So. And then we've got a group of people that just very quietly donate some money to make it all happen.
Right.
So it really takes 4 different efforts, to pull all this together, and it's for a little bit there. It's a little bit challenging to make sure everything all comes together, because like a lot of good things, there's a team that's involved, but there's an awful lot of behind the scenes things that have to happen. 400 meals might not sound like a lot of meals, but that's a lot to come together and do all the things.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so we appreciate the volunteers.
Yes, it is.
So now, to answer your question, yes, it's been just a great year in Tullahoma. So many good things have happened. We've got young families. I don't know statistically, but anecdotally, many, many new families are moving to Tullahoma. They want to make this either their returning home, or they want to make this their home, and I'm excited about that. From a retail standpoint, we've got an awful lot of new stores that are opening in Tullahoma, and even more that are looking at investing in Tullahoma. So the next couple of years will be very exciting for the people of Tullahoma. Our school system and students, teachers continue to excel. They do a great job. We're still a top 5 school system in the state. Our airport this year was recognized as the airport of the year in Tennessee. We've got more physicians that are locating in the area, so we've become more and more of a medical destination, for individuals. So. Just a lot of good things happening in Tullahoma.
It looks like the new public store. I know that's generating a tremendous amount of excitement. And that's going to be a huge project out there, isn't it?
It is. Obviously a multi-million-dollar project.
Right.
And it's fun to drive by during the course of the day and watch all the infrastructure work that's taking place now. And then across the street, there's another development that's being built as well. And there'll be more things happen next year as well.
I know that sales tax collections across the state have been consistently up for the last year or so, and I assume that bears the same for Tullahoma.
Yeah, no question. I mean, we went for like 39 months in a row where retail sales were up considerably over the same month the preceding year. So yeah, and that's good for jobs in Tullahoma. That's good that the sales taxes come in. That provides money for the school system and the operations of city government. And so yeah.
I know. I guess it was right after Thanksgiving. I was driving past the mall, and I thought, my goodness, this mall is full of people.
Sure.
I mean, the parking lot was full, and I thought things must be doing well.
Sure.
You know, so.
Yeah, and there's industries that are growing as well. L&S Distributing is a major $5 million expansion, and there's other industries in Tullahoma that are employing people. I mean, our employment rate right now is approximately 97%. So, you know, this
At
is a
that
good
rate, it's probably everybody that wants a job has probably got one.
I think so, and plus people, you know, maybe are counted that are in between jobs or something like that. So, yeah, 97% is pretty much it.
Yeah.
So our arts, we continue to be an arts destination. The Arts Council is doing some good things in the community this year, and we'll continue to do good things next year. Our Go Green effort, recycling continues to increase, and the Go Green Council has got a lot of neat things on the drawing board. The Get Fit, you know, we were recognized again this year as one of the 2 most healthy communities in Middle Tennessee. We're right behind Franklin. So that's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
That's a very good thing.
By the way, my wife got really into that and has been into it. But, you know, kind of need to ease off a little bit because she's trying to talk me into getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and going for these walks, which, you know, it's just not all that appealing to me, Mr. Mayor. You know.
Well, sorry about that. But,
you know,
I was speaking to a civic group, and they were very, very complimentary. One man was, Lane, we appreciate so much you doing this and doing this and doing this, but now this Get Fit stuff, you're getting a little personal now.
Yeah.
But he was making a joke, and he was into it himself, actually. So yeah, we've Parks and Rec have hosted, you know, Walk Across Tennessee and Walk to the State Parks and Walk to the Beach, and we've hosted 5Ks, and we're extending the Greenway. We're just doing a lot of things that encourage fitness. Yeah.
I would assume that you've put so many things in place since you've been mayor, and I've always been amazed at how you can balance multiple things out, and I guess that's something you're just really good at. But,
well, I appreciate you saying that.
But you have to spend a lot of time thinking about all these different projects.
Well, I do, but you know, when I speak to elementary schools, which I do, we have 75 elementary school classrooms in Tullahoma, and every year for many, many years I visit all 75 classrooms, and we talk about respect and kindness, and they ask me questions, I ask them questions, and one of the questions they almost always ask is, do you like being mayor?
Yeah.
And I say, well, does it look like I like being mayor?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they say, yeah. So I do enjoy being mayor. You know, I get way too much credit for things. Occasionally, maybe a little bit too much blame for things, but
it's kind of like being the quarterback on the football team. Yeah.
Sure, right. But I do enjoy it, and yes, it does take some time. But I mean, this is my 16th year, so I think I've sort of got it down now. But I do enjoy it. It's an honor to be the mayor of your hometown.
And you still enjoy it as much as when you started, I'm sure.
I do, yeah. Maybe even a little bit more now. So, yeah.
Okay. It's always good to hear positive things happening in our community from the mayor.
Right.
And I'm sure you make a lot of that happen.
Well, thanks.
Congratulations and Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you.
Right.
And Merry Christmas to everybody watching, too.
All right. Thanks so much for coming by today. Folks, we'll be right back in just a moment with more living.
Here at Manchester Funeral Home, we know the importance of living and working in our local community because it's those families who we serve during their time of need honorably. We believe in supporting local business and offer only 100% Batesville caskets, the best in the industry and a driver of our local economy. If you want straightforward and fair pricing while working with the people you know, choose Manchester Funeral Home, serving your community since 1932. And pre-planning and pre-funding can be the best gift you ever leave your loved ones. Call us to pre-arrange. Manchester Funeral Home, our family caring for your family since 1932.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or what direction life takes you. You just need need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
How long has it been since you raced a cheetah? Are your tornado creating skills getting rusty? Tired of being the only one in your neighborhood who hasn't built a dinosaur? Sounds like it's time to visit the Hands-On Science Center. The Hands-On Science Center is an indoor science playground. In this museum, please touch is the rule. Join us for weekly science demonstrations on space, lasers, lizards, rocks, and a whole lot more. No two visits are ever the same, so visit often to see our ever-changing exhibits and demonstrations. The Hands-On Science Center, 101 Mitchell Boulevard in Tullahoma.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and as many of you probably know, my lovely co-host today, Peggy Burton, is also a voice teacher in town and has been for many, many years, and she's got several private students that she teaches, and this year they were featured in the Old Town Christmas Stroll from the South Jackson Civic Center, and we want to bring you one of the numbers they did, Peggy Burton Singers.
maybe you were just building a bridge, a business, or a community. Maybe you were simply working for a home or a better tomorrow. At the time, you served out of duty and love of country. But in that time, we see a legacy created, an American dream lived. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live well.
There is no place like home.
Getting home safely is just a click away, and choosing the right seat for your little one's age and size will take you down the road to safer travels.
How can I ever thank you enough?
Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
I'm meteorologist Leland Statham from the News Channel 5 Weather Center. Look to Jim Fuller and crew for local news night here on Channel 6.
Good morning, all you wonderful people in TV land and camera ladies. Thanks, John, for that introduction. And Madam Elf, we're delighted to see that you made it here this morning. You know, this is a wonderful season. Hot, cold, dry, wet, whatever it is, the Christmas season always fills you with good spirits, and it's wonderful to be here. And having seen a lot of seasons in the past, I'd like to share with you a current event and the same current event many, many years ago, and that's the snow season. You know, the ground was blanketed with snow this morning, and until it gets waist deep, I think we could probably get around these wonderful Tullahoma streets and byways. But you know, I'm reminded of some of the days gone by. I think I mentioned it in an earlier show, that in 1939 for Easter we had an early spring, and the grass was up and the violets were up and the jonquils and tulips were all up, and sure enough, all the ladies were ready to come out in their Easter finery. Guess what happened? Saturday night before Easter, it snowed. I'm telling you, about a foot of snow, and little buttercups and jonquils, little heads were just sticking up above the snow that day. And that was not a good weather year either, because in the fall and winter of 1939 was one of the hardest freezes in the century. And the Avoca and Lake and Lake Tullahoma froze over. And I don't know whether it was Hubert Crouch or Robert Doss that bet somebody that they could drive their Model A across Avoca Lake, and I don't know what the bet was, but sure enough, they drove a Model A across Lake Avoca in the winter of 1939. In 1940, winter was not much better, because that was the winter they constructed Camp Forest here for the big Army base, and there was mud around the clock, and they had a good group of big international dump trucks that brought crushed rock from the quarry at Normandy and Lynchburg, and I forget where the other one was, but they brought gravel into the Camp Forest area around the clock so they could have some kind of footing to get the trucks and material in there. But one of the worst things about that winter was the ice, terrible ice. The temperature was not too low, but the ice was terrible, and the wind. And I know the trunk line of the telephone company that went down the alley between Washington and Atlantic Street that had probably 20 cross arms on it, maybe 100 wires that took the telephone communications between Chattanooga and Nashville, and they were sagging not to the ground, but they were loaded with ice. And of course, ice is the biggest enemy of the electric company. Wind is bad and rain is bad, but ice, they just can do more. As we all know, in the ice storm just before Christmas of '98, how the service was interrupted, and we did makeshift things to live together and stay together, and we made it fine. But Mother Nature has a way of working real hard. One of the fun things about ice and snow is if you can have some otherwise fairly decent weather, was to go sleigh riding and sledding. I know Camel's Hill, which is the second block of West Lincoln Street, before it was ever paved, was real steep and it was gravel, and that was called Camel's Hill. And it was fun to get on a great big piece of heavy cardboard or sled and run and jump on it about when you're in front of Domino's Pizza on West Lincoln Street, and you could slide all the way across the bridge, Rock Creek Bridge on West Lincoln Street. And it was fun. The police or public works people put a big 55-gallon oil drum in the intersection there of Lincoln and Jackson, and kept a fire going in it so folks could warm their hands, and it was a great time and a lot of fun. And the automobiles or vehicles couldn't come up that block of West Lincoln because it was so steep and slick. Another good sleigh riding hill was over behind the old Tullahoma Laundry there, and it was called Osborne's Hill, and you could go down on it in a sled. If you didn't turn quick enough, you'd wind up in Rock Creek, and a lot of our buddies did do that, but it was so much fun. And along about the middle of the middle of 70s, had a good snow on a weekend, and a lot of folks went out to the Lake Hills area near Avoca, and it was good wide roads out there and real good and slick. The sun was out, and spent the whole afternoon, that Sunday afternoon, sleigh riding. And a couple of brothers here, the twins, Charlie and Clarence Weaver, that made a big wooden sled that probably 15 and 20 people could get on out of 2x4s and some old lumber, and they called it the dingbat. And they'd get somebody in a pickup truck or a car that would drive them all over town, had blankets, and it was so much fun. But if you're bundled up good for cold weather, why, it's really, really great. If you might as well not try to get out in a T-shirt because you'll freeze and take cold, but if you're bundled up real good, why, it's a lot of fun and keep warm that way. But those days were real fun. One winter, many years ago, the weather was so severe and the snow was so heavy that people ran out of firewood, and the city fathers said you can go down to South Jackson school grounds and cut some of those old oak trees down there and get you some firewood. When the school was first built there, you could not see all the way across the campus for the big trees that were there. But that particular winter, they cut down many of those trees for firewood, and that was a 13-acre block there that was the original town square. And even years before that, I asked my grandfather one time what the earliest snow was and the latest snow, and he didn't remember when the earliest one was, but he said the latest one was the corn was already up and the gardens were green, and the yards had plenty of grass and the leaves were all out and everything. And on May the 16th of 1886, they had about 18-inch to 2-foot snow that late in the year. And I thought, surely not in May, but sure enough, somebody called in the weather people at Channel 5 a year or two ago and asked the same question: when was the first one and when was the latest one on record? And sure enough, May the 16th, 1886, blanketed Tennessee from Memphis to Kingsport with a deep snow, and it stayed, they said, for about a week. But those are some of the things that, and things of past that were related to snow. I understand that today the forecast is for, I think, a high of about 20 and possible snow flurries tonight and Saturday and Sunday, and Christmas Day is supposed to be cold but dry, no snow. But I'm wondering how it would be in where was it, in the Midwest in the last couple of weeks. They've had such terrible, deep blowing blizzard type snows. I talked to one of my suppliers in Iowa yesterday about 3 o'clock, and the lady said, we're getting ready to go home. I said, how come? She said, we can't see across the street. The snow is blowing so hard, and the streets are slick, and we want to get home when we can. How's it down there in Tennessee? I said, well, the sun is out now, and we've had a few snow flurries, but it's pleasant, and if you bundle up real good, it's not too bad. I wish we were down there because we're up in all this heavy blowing snow, and but that's what you expect up there, you know, to have plenty of snow and that sort of thing. But we live in the sunny South, and I'm glad that we have the changing seasons, the 4 seasons. One last thing I remember very well, February the 16th, 1946, when our ship had just come back from the South Pacific. We pulled into Boston Harbor, and it was 26 below zero, and the wind was blowing about 50 or 60 knots off the North Atlantic. And I'm telling you right now, I prayed if the Lord get me back to Tullahoma, Tennessee in one piece and get me thawed out, I would never, ever complain about hot weather again, and I haven't. But those were really bone-chilling days. And tell you what, this is not the end of the story, because there's a lot more to be coming pretty soon, and we'll have some tales to tell, and we thank you so much for watching, and everybody have a good, dry, warm day.
The Animal Shelter has served Tullahoma dogs for nearly 30 years. Now, you can help us build a bigger and better no-kill shelter. Your tax-deductible gift is matched dollar for dollar, so come on, bark it forward and donate now to have your tax-deductible gift matched. Make your check payable to the COT Shelter Building Fund and go to tullahomatn.gov to see all the unique gifts available for your generosity. For more details, you can call City Hall at 455-2648.
Tullahoma City does a wonderful thing when they do the Old Town Stroll, and today we're going to take you to the First Methodist Church and Adam Womack's Aristocats performing.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Hey, are we back?
Okay.
That choir was great, wasn't it?
They were. They absolutely
They
were.
did such a good job.
They had lulled me to sleep there for
I
a
know.
second. I was
You're beginning to doze
expecting.
off?
I was expecting something else to pop up there. Anyway, we've about concluded another living
I know,
show.
it doesn't take any time, it seems.
Yeah, that's right. Especially when we're having fun.
I know.
And we had a lot of great entertainment on the show today as well. As the mayor, of course, had some great information for us. And
Yes, he did.
we wish him
He
luck with
always
that
has.
project.
It's
Yeah.
interesting how many things go on, and sometimes we don't even notice, and it's good to have you come
absolutely,
in and enlighten us a
absolutely.
bit. Well, I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas.
Yes, a Merry
It may
Christmas.
be over by now, but
By the time you see this, it could be over.
Yeah.
But we do wish all of you a Merry Christmas, and I think we're going to close the show with
oh, we're going to close the show with the combined middle school choirs that recently did a concert up at Tullahoma High School.